You are listening to the audio production of The House That Jesus Built, Leading Our Churches Back to God's Original Blueprint by Natalie Runion, published by David C. Cook. This book is read by the author. To the church, the radical remnant, the called out ones, let's build something beautiful. Preface. For the past several years, I have led an online community called Raised to Stay, a family of stayers from diverse denominations and church experiences around the world. We are leaders, pastors, volunteers, and churchgoers, all wading through the rubble of cultural changes and faith deconstruction, particularly here in our Western church. Within this online community, I've encountered people from churches who are desperate for healing and hope, those committed to staying even in the wreckage of their disappointment and pain, to be part of rebuilding something that would introduce future generations to churches Jesus himself would want to attend. My first book, Raised to Stay, documented my own wondering, wandering, and wrestling with my relationship with the local church as a pastor's kid turned pastor, and gave voice to the pain of others in an effort to begin the healing process. When visiting face-to-face with pastors and local church leaders, I have come to better understand the challenges many experience who are doing good, godly work in their communities. Being a little further through the journey than some, and always attempting to maintain a prayerful and humble approach, I knew my next book needed to acknowledge some of the areas in our churches where shepherds have compromised the safety of the sheep. And it needed to do this without leaving us in the rubble and by confirming that we do have hope. The title of this book, The House That Jesus Built, encompasses the clear message God gave to me to bring to his church, to keep going. I've known God is calling a radical remnant to rise up out of the rubble of deconstruction, not wallow in confusion and defeat, and rebuild with him churches that will serve as cities on a hill in these dark days we live in. As I spent time in the scriptures and in prayer, the words on the pages of my Bible jumped out at me, already strategically placed by our God like blueprints for a beautiful cathedral. God's word from Genesis to Revelation provides us his foundation, floor plan, and framework for a holy, healthy, and safe church. And you and I are that church. Jesus says in Matthew chapter 16, verses 18 through 19, "Upon this rock I will build my church, and all the powers of hell will not conquer it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven." But we are more than a building or a congregation. We are the ecclesia, the called out ones. This word coming from ek, out from, and kaleo, to call. In the New Testament, the ecclesia is a group of people who are set apart from the world and on mission to see others come to the saving knowledge of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We are that same ecclesia, called out and set apart, not just once a week when we gather in a physical building, but every single day as we share the hope of Jesus everywhere we go. Jesus said he would build the ecclesia, and we, as God's people, have the opportunity as the called out to partner with him in rebuilding something beautiful out of the rubble and back on the rock. As the called out ones, we must unify and commit to building on one foundation and one foundation alone, Jesus Christ. We have the blueprints we need found within the pages of God's word. Jesus tells the disciples in Matthew chapter 7, "Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and the flood waters rise and the winds beat against the house, it won't collapse because it is built on bedrock. But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish, like a person who builds a house on sand. When the rains and the floods come and the winds beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash." Verses 24 through 27. We cannot leave Jesus out of our building plans. God's church has been nearly destroyed brick by the brutal attacks of our adversary. Now
Sample complete. Ready to continue?